Yo, what's up, everybody? Professor V here, and in this lecture, we learn about how motivating yourself sets up your college success, how the creation of inner motivation helps drive you towards your goals in and out of college. So, without further ado, let's get started. In a recent study, college and university educators were asked what did they believe why students failed in college. An overwhelming response of lack of motivation was suggested. This could be lack of motivation to go to class on time, turning in assignments late or not at all, not participating in class discussions, not active listening, among other things. The biggest thing that was found was that about 33% of first year university students do not return for their second year of college, and 50% at junior and community colleges. That's a drastic number. This lecture is all about how to achieve and maintain motivation to continue college and not become a statistic. To put motivation into a simple formula, we can look at it this way shown here. Value you place on your success times your expectation of obtaining success equals your quantified level of motivation. Self-assess yourself on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being the lowest amount of value or expectation, and 10 being the most. Be honest with yourself, or this exercise just doesn't work. Once you self-assess, multiply the numbers to get your motivation level. The closest to 100, the higher your motivation. The lower to Once you self-assess, multiply the numbers to get your motivation level. The closest to 100, the higher your motivation. The closer to 0, the lower your motivation level. Think about your source of value and expectation and where it comes from. For college, do you value education, or do you think that society values education? The value needs to be intrinsic. You must have the sense of value for your education. Same with expectation. Where does it come from? Do your parents expect you to do well, or do you expect yourself to do well? What about not doing so well? In the last lecture, we discussed stereotypes and stereotype threats. Because your culture may have a stereotype of not being academically successful, does it impact your expectation? It should not, but it does happen. Once again, be aware of that stereotype threat. To stay motivated in college, you must keep the personal value you place on college high. This includes each course you take, the degree you intend to earn, the knowledge you'll attain, and the experiences you'll have. Often, I hear the argument that college value is unnecessary because you can be successful without a college degree. They begin to name millionaires and billionaires who have amassed a large monetary wealth with no college education. They name people like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and others who are all college dropouts. But then the list begins to get thin. Hard to think of other examples. While there are more that are lesser known to the public, such as Larry Ellison, Michael Dell, Travis Kalanick, John Mackey, and others, the point of valuing an education is that it opens doors that are not as easily accessible without one. There are far, far more wealthy people who are also college educated than those who don't have a college degree. Also, all the people I mentioned are college dropouts, meaning they still went to college at some point because they understood this fact. Again, an education helps you qualify for a job that you want, to make you more marketable in the job force, to give you the skills to think critically and logically, to help communicate more clearly, and to thrive in work and life purposes. It also helps with finding your identity and individual purpose. It enables you to find purposeful work both in jobs and personal work. College isn't just job training, it's life training. Don't lose focus on that. Obviously, you can see that I place a lot of value of a college education, but I still do respect those that are successful in their own right without a college education. Your expectation also needs to be high to be successful in college. Consider ways to raise your expectation or keep them high while making what you consider reasonable amounts of effort. As I have said in the previous lecture, college isn't always easy, but it can be enjoyably difficult. You can see here some of the values that many place on college outcomes. Studies have shown that often those with a college education are able to save more money over their lifetime, have better working conditions, better health and life expectancy, and health insurance. They are often able to provide a better quality of life for themselves and their children. Often these benefits are passed to their children as well. They have better skills in making consumer decisions and have an overall higher sense of personal status. They are often more satisfied in their personal lives, not free from the daily stressors, but have more resources to deal with daily stress as well. I just said in the previous slide that obtaining a college education can be enjoyably difficult. That is one part of the college experience in which you can enjoy. College is often a high point in people's lives when reflecting. It can be a fun time. This could be because of the classes you take are interesting, clubs and organizations you are involved in, sports or cheering on your sports team, making friends and going to social gatherings, among other things. While some of these listed activities and others are not the primary goal of college, and when done too much can be distracting, when done in moderation, it can contribute to academic motivation. This helps dopamine output in the brain, and when this happens, it reinforces the likelihood of doing things you enjoy more often. And since college is part of it, you'll likely want to attend and be successful in college. Other values include academic confidence, excitement about learning, personal confidence, and others that are unlisted here, such as a creative growth, open mindedness, respect, inspiration, challenge, pride, new insight on a wide range of areas in academia and in life. One reason why people may not be as successful as they would like is because the lack of understanding roles and not setting goals. Think about your roles in which you have. Life roles are activities you perform daily that you devote a great deal of time to on a weekly basis. This could be some of the self descriptions listed here: friend, employee, employer, brother, sister, parent, husband, wife, musician, and many more. What is it that you want out of these roles? Set long term goals for each one. What is it that you want to accomplish in your roles in 2, 5, or even 10 years? Of course, again, you need to sit down and think about your life roles that you have. Write them down. I challenge you. The average is 4 to 7 life roles. Over 7, you may be stretching yourself a bit too thin. Reduce or try to combine some of your life roles. If you're below 4, reassess. You may have overlooked 1 or 2. With this being a lecture series focused on college success, let's look at a specific life role. College student. In 2 years, you may want to have an associate's degree. In 4 years, a bachelor's degree. In 6 years, a master's degree. And in 8 years, a doctorate of philosophy, doctor of medicine, or doctor of jurisprudence, which is a law degree. Of course, you don't have to go all the way to a master's degree, a PhD, an MD, or a JD, but if you intend to do so, be sure to plan and set goals to actually get there. And speaking of goals, we need to discuss how to set them. The textbook in which this lecture series is heavily based on discusses using Dapps to set goals. This is an acronym for dated, achievable, personal, positive, and specific. Another common acronym is SMART, or just SMART goals. It is also an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Both methods serve the same purpose: to set well defined goals and a plan to achieve them. Let's discuss Dapps first. Goals should be dated, meaning having a specific deadline for when you want to have a goal accomplished by. There are different time ranges in which you can set goals. Short term goals are often a month or couple months. Long term goals are goals that are set well into the future, a year, 5 or 10 years from now. Often you may need to set goals between short term and long term goals. These are called intermediate goals. Setting deadlines pushes you and motivates you to have something done on time. Often, the closer you get to the time in which you have set, motivation increases. When the goal isn't reached on time, you know when to reassess your goal and your path to reaching that goal right then and there. Without a set deadline, you may continue to stretch the time period trying to reach the goal and possibly never actually reaching it. Your goals need to be achievable or realistic to you and your situation. If you set a goal mid-semester and have 2 failing grades on 2 previous exams, the likelihood of earning an A in the course is often not achievable. Ask for advice on how to set an achievable goal to your situations. Your instructor may be able to help you earn a C, maybe just maybe a B, depending on the class structure. Make goals personal to you. Don't let someone else dictate your goals for you. Some parents in some cultures more than others force their child into a specific career path or college major. Don't let anyone else's pressure influence what career path you take. You have to do what is right for you. I know this is easier said than done for some, as not disappointing loved ones may be a goal of yours too. Do what you think is best for you. It's your life, not theirs. Don't let gender roles and stereotypes dictate what you major in, your career path, and just life in general. If you are a male and want to major in nursing, then nursing field is for you. If you are a female and want to go into aerospace engineering, then go conquer the skies. Set your goals, not someone else's, at the expense of your own happiness. Focus on what you want to do and not what you don't want. A negative goal would be to not fail. A positive goal would be to pass biology with an A. And lastly, be specific with your goal setting language. Narrow them down to measurable terms. Don't just say, I want to earn an A in biology. State how you are going to obtain that A in biology. I will complete all lab assignments by the due date and study to earn high grades for each exam. This will help with choosing paths that will help you reach your goals. A goal to pass your biology exam using Dapps may sound like this: I will complete all required assignments by the end of the week to help me understand the material that will be on the exam next week. You can see here that Dapps is applied. SMART goals are very similar to Dapps. Specific is the same in Dapps. Specific. The S in SMART stands for the exact same word in Dapps. Measurable is similar to achievable. Saying pass biology is not measurable as quite as saying pass biology with an A. Pass biology could mean with a D, C, B, or A. Attainable is not similar to achievable. It is the same as achievable. Just as I said before, it is unlikely to earn an A in a course in which you have 2 failing exam grades. That shouldn't be your goal. Set something reasonable, such as a C or maybe a B. Relevant means to make sure your goal applies to the situation at hand. Do not say that a goal is to get along with your biology professor. Whether you get along or not, your goal is to be able to understand biological concepts in order to earn an A in the course. Of course, I do hope that you do get along with professors as well. Just shouldn't be the primary goal. And lastly, time bound is the exact same as dated in Dapps. Whichever method you use, by using one or even both methods of goal setting will help with motivation, putting a fire under you, a challenge, especially as the time frame shortens or due dates get closer. Write your goals down too. Don't just say them. Put thoughts to pen and paper to help remind you daily what your goals are and when you need to reach them. The hardest thing in goal setting is not setting goals, it's carrying them out, committing to them, having this unwavering need to carry out the steps you have set in place to reach your goals despite experiencing life. We all know that sometimes life gets in the way, but we must keep the eye on the prize, if you will. The more passionate and more dedicated to your goals you have, the greater the motivation. To increase commitment, increase what we spoke about in the last lecture. Increase your responsibility. Adopt a creator mindset and the idea that only you are responsible for reaching your goals. Navigate around the life situations that may come up and take control of your life decisions. Also, reward yourself when you reach a goal. Remember what I said earlier about dopamine? When you reward yourself, even with something as simple as a candy bar, it increases dopamine output in your brain and thus reinforcing the behavior and thus increasing the likelihood of repeating those goal defining and goal reaching behaviors. Visualize the results. I like to say time travel. No, I don't mean hop into your DeLorean and go back to the future. I mean to mentally time travel. Visualize where you will be at in college and in life when you complete your goals. This will help with keeping a clear picture of where you want to be, who you want to be, and thus sustaining motivation. Break down your goals into manageable tasks. In addition to goal setting, you must also define the actions you'll complete to reach these goals. That will actually be a large part in the next lecture, creating a leak-proof self-management system and creating a next actions list. Also, use others as a support system to reach your goals. Surround yourself with those that motivate you and in return motivate them. Our motivation levels is often impacted by others. Be sure they are positive others in your life, which could include not just family and friends, but also classmates and instructors that may serve as mentors. More on using others to each other advantage in the lecture after next when we focus on interdependence. Constantly remind yourself why you set the goal in the first place, especially long-term goals. It can be quite easy to find discouragements in difficult tasks and in hard situations, decreasing your motivation. Reminding yourself by rereading your goals, revisualizing where and who you want to be, and other behaviors that remind you of why you are doing what you are doing is a motivation booster. To visualize, relax. Use meditation techniques such as deep breathing. When you do, you relax muscle groups. Use present tense when visualizing and speaking about your goals. When visualizing graduating with your biology degree, visualize yourself in the present, walking across that stage, shaking all those people's hands that you have no idea who they are, but they're important people nonetheless. Moving your tassel from the right side to the left side, throwing your graduation cap up in the air in celebration, seeing your parents and other supportive people in your life in the stands cheering for you. As you are doing that, Use your five senses too. Imagine what you will see: the stage, the crowds, your classmates, the professors, even the band that plays the national anthem before the ceremony begins. What will you hear? Praise, cheering, horns going off, music coming from the band, the deans and other guest speakers talking. What do you feel? The cool breeze flowing through your hair, or in my case, my scalp. In addition to using your five senses, feel the feelings. Imagine what emotions you'll experience. Overwhelming happiness that you begin to cry because of the extreme amount of joy you are experiencing at the ceremony. All of these things will help increase your motivation because you will want to experience them, not have them be just a fantasy. Using Dapps and or SMART goals and visualizing your success can help sustain your high levels of motivation. But there is another theory that helps. Hope theory. Hope, according to researcher Charles Snyder, is a positive motivational state. It can be examined and assessed by your pathway and agency thoughts. Pathway thoughts is your ideal and visualized choices to reach your goals. You want to find multiple routes to success and reaching your goals. You wouldn't just read your biology textbook, right? What other things would you do to study for your biology exam to reach your goal of an A? Can you think of any? As you think, you are engaging in pathway thoughts. Do the assigned homework, study with groups, and other learning techniques we have talked about thus far and will continue to discuss. Agency thoughts are personal beliefs that you can improve your life. Students with higher levels of hope have been shown to do better in college and have higher graduation rates. This is positive thinking. They also have lower levels of anxiety, including test anxiety. You can establish hope by using Dapps or SMART goals, identifying different paths or different techniques to achieve your goals, and visualizing and identifying and then overcoming obstacles and life's little and big problems. And this concludes the third lecture of this College Success Lecture series. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you for watching, and I hope you continue your path to college success. Until next time, take care. We can look at it this way shown here. The closer to zero, wait, what? In college, oh, can't put that one in the blooper reel. I just said in the previous slide that the averages for the several. Oh. This is an acronym for dated, achievable, possible. No. Possible, personal. Where did I get possible from?